What's up, nerds and nerdettes, and we little nerdlings all? It's your buddy Big John and G for Two Gun Picture presents Midday Monologue Monday. Yes. So I'm doing this viewer comment, as you can tell, a week early, and that's mainly because, well, live next Monday is Christmas. Now, whether you celebrate Christmas religiously, or maybe just as a national holiday, or you don't celebrate it at all, you can probably understand that it might be a little bit busy for me. Well, yes, it is. It's going to be a little bit busy. I'm going to try to hop on, do something live sometime next Monday afternoon on Christmas Day, but I can't promise anything. So that's why I wanted to make sure I jumped on and did this today. I just realized this morning. I've been so busy and so backed up, I didn't even get this week's Two Gun Pixie weekly schedule up last night. I didn't have time. We had a Friendsmas, a Christmas Friendsmas, so to speak, here last night, and so a lot of things didn't happen this weekend that I wanted to happen. But here I am now. I did get that completed. That's up. And when I was putting it together, I realized, holy shnikey, I can't promise I'm going to be able to do this next Monday. So that's why the switch up. That's why the switch up for today. Also, coming up now, it won't be next Monday. And it probably won't be, unless I redo it to incorporate it, it probably won't be the Monday after that. So probably the second Monday of January, I'm going to do a sort of channel update. Like I do State of the Shelf, and I'm going to do a State of the Shelf too. That's separate. But I'm going to do like a State of the Channel update. It's been a while since I did a channel update episode. So that's going to be like the second week in January. Things are getting pushed around. I've been getting pushed around. You probably noticed the unboxing schedule that got pushed around because I did not expect. Well, I was hoping, yes, but did not expect exactly to get Fallen Lands Second Edition and the expansion box Descendants as fast as I did. And if you watch the video, if you watch the unboxings that I've done, or the playthrough that me and 20-Sided Warriors, the Brothers M, we did, then I just gotta say, this game, unlike 99% of the games that you've seen on this channel, that is given to me by the publishers. That is a publisher review gift. So, and I just want to mention that every time. But yeah, so that got pushed around. Also, if you look up behind me, that top shelf up there, the top shelf up there next to Galactus is still empty. Yeah, I've been waiting. My big box, that like almost $700, well, he was part of that almost $700 buy of mine for Cool Minis or Knots, Marvel Zombies. The box, I got the notification. The box has been sitting right next door to me in New Jersey, in East Rutherford, since, according to the email I got, since the 3rd of November. Since the 3rd of November. It has been sitting there with a label, just waiting to ship out. I guess they don't want anyone on the East Coast to get this before Christmas, because I have no idea why it's been sitting there for 6 weeks and not shipped out. This is ridiculous. So that shelf is still empty, which is also pushed back and changed up my entire lineup for the slideshow gamings. So that's been screwy. But yeah, let's get into this. Because we've been getting some comments. We got a lot of new subscribers. We're up to 1,515. Yeah, we're up to 1515. That's pretty cool. So with Gaming Radar, search for Planet X by Foxtrot Games. We have an old friend and regular of the channel here, Starship Chiru Studios. The first two comments on the list are by our friends there. And Starship Chiru Studios 7097 said, "Thank you for the review. It's good to see a science themed game. We need more of these. I agree. We do. First of all, games are fun. So when you incorporate something like a scientific learning aspect to it, it makes it that much easier to learn because you're having fun while you're doing it. And everything that's going on in science right now, it is exploding. So, we gotta keep our eyes on all the articles and the tech articles that are coming out and see how these massive changes are going to be happening in the next few years. Woo! Yes. So also, Starship Chiru Studios had a comment for Gaming Radar of Unmatched by Mondo Games and Restoration Games. And they said, thank you for the quick description. Your YouTube channel. Nope. He said, thank you for the quick description. The YouTube channel, One Board Family, has playthroughs with this game every Friday. Wow, every Friday. There are games that I play here in my live playthroughs. I'm talking like the campaign style games. I would love to just say, hey, every Friday until this game is done, this is what's going to be played live. But the reason I've never done that is I feel like that's going to alienate people. Well, that's one of the reasons. There's going to alienate some people. They're going to be like getting tired of the game, and they're not going to want to see 4 or 5 weeks of Hero Quest or Marvel Champions or something. And then also the other reason is there's so many games that I got. So many games I want to play. So many videos I'm already knee deep in making about our D&D campaign. Where's the time? Where's the time for me to put aside, to videotape me, even just doing it live, just to videotape me doing Hero Quest 5, 6, 8, 10, 12 weeks in a row? That'd be awesome. But ultimately, I think the first reason I gave is the much larger reason. And if something happened to show that I was wrong, if I got enough comments saying, John, I would just love to see a hardcore run of you just every live playthrough for the next few weeks, just finish off Keller's Keep. If I saw something like that, I would do it because I want to do it. But doing it in parts and bits and pieces here and there is good enough for me for right now. But if I'm wrong, let me know. Put it down in the comments. Say, John, you're wrong. I would love to see a long haul run of a campaign over several weeks. I'll do it. Moving on to Pixie Playthrough. Pixie Playthrough. I was just mentioning this of Fallen Land 2nd edition. So this weekend was a really odd weekend. It was just me and the 2 boys, young men. Ryan and Andrew were here. And so it was like, I just gave out a list of things, what do you want to play? And on the list, I did put Fallen Land because I know Ryan had enjoyed the 1st edition of it, and it's been years since he had the chance to play it. So I put that on the list, and when they showed up, that was the number one thing. They said, John, Fallen Land. Andrew never played it before, so we wanted to show it off to him, and Ryan was just hot to play that game, and we are hot to get it back to the table again and again and again, and it's rekindled my desire for solo playing. The last solo play I did on camera was a huge debacle where what I did was I went through the character list and I specifically picked out all the characters that were the game designers, like John Longren and Sean Cahill and the rest of them, because they have themselves in the game. So I picked my team of 5 based on them, and they also had the limo with the chauffeur. And they went out, and I think it was like their 1st or 2nd mission. It was a TP kill, total party kill. Boom, if you don't know the phrase. The TPK. It was absolutely horrible. And for, in-game story, a little RPG touch and feel to it, I did say that, well, the car didn't get destroyed, so our driver's fine. So he's gonna take them all back to town, and next game I'll just bring them back in and say that they've been healed. Well, I never got another game on camera after that. I played 2 off camera with them, but now what I'm doing is why don't I just do a solo picking up from there for camera, right? Why don't I just do that? Why don't I just pick the designers out, put them in the game, and redo it again now with the 2nd edition rule, solo style, solo. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Just finding the time. Time is not my friend, my friends. But yeah, so for the Bixby playthrough of Fallen Knight, which took us like 4 hours, uh, nobody's commented on a certain thing yet, so I don't know if anyone's noticed it yet. I'm waiting. I'm not ignoring it. I'm waiting until somebody makes the comment on something that happened in the game. But the designer of the game himself, John Longren, with the Fallen Dominion Studios, said, "Awesome!" And I had to yell that because he did put an exclamation point. Thank you very much, John. I want to thank you, Sean, and the rest of the team for sending a copy of the game to us. It says the first day I played it, has been constantly somewhere within my top 3 games. And this second edition, I'm going to hold off. I'm not saying where it is in my list yet because we've only gotten one official playthrough of it yet. But it's feeling good. Friday night filler of Dark Tower. Kind of pulled some of you in on that. I still don't own Dark Tower anymore. Mine got destroyed in the fire. And, some of these prices that these collectors and refurbishers, guys that fix them, and gals that fix them. I mean, $200-$300 for some of these things and more. Even though it get played a hell of a lot, and a lot of it would be on camera, I'd be sharing almost every single play, solo or otherwise, that I do with it. I can't justify the money. I can't. Especially now getting knee deep back into Dungeons and Dragons. This year we're pretty much going to be doing the bulk of this year's D&D, and I'm going to be talking about this. There's going to be a preview video. But yeah, basically we're for the next until April, you're going to see a new campaign. After the Forge campaign is just finished up this month, you're going to see another campaign until April, and then we're delving back in with this team to do Speaker in the Dreams module. And after that, I'm going old school back to AD&D, and I'm updating it myself. I'm not using any online PDF 3rd edition update to the Giants. I know that module. I've been DMing for like 45 years. I'm good. I can update it myself. And that's what we're doing. So I have all the things I need, terrain-wise, table-wise, for Speaker in the Dreams. So now this year, while we're playing Speaker in the Dreams, I don't need a lot. There's very little terrain, actually, that I need for to do the giant stuff. It's minis. I got to make sure I have enough giant minis. I'm pretty sure I have enough hill giants, except I need like 4 female hill giants. And I've only seen, as far as the pre-painted ones go, I've only seen like 2 versions on eBay. So I saw a couple of unpainted. Maybe I can get my buddy to paint them for me. He's currently painting a couple of things I can't wait to show off. That'll be part of the Speaker in the Dreams campaign, tabletop builds. But yeah, so I need some of the minis, some of the figures. But that's pretty much everything that I'm going to be putting into for this coming year. So I can't go into the pocket and get Dark Tower. I can't. But we do have from Valen D, who I believe has made comments here before, just not for a while. Valen D said, "Victory." Yes, you have. I do. Yes, I do remember. I'm not that old or crazy. Valen D said, "Victory for Big Johnny G." I have a track record of not winning most games. If anyone watches me play these playthroughs, it's true. Whether I'm playing solo or competitive, I do tend to lose. There are a few games I am very good at, and this is one of them. Whether it's the app version that I sucked you all into, that's all I have is the app version of this to play, but it's a perfect port from the board to the app. It's like absolutely beautiful. But yeah, it's one of the games I usually win. Even going back to childhood, I, for some reason, just connect with the game. It's one of those games that you connect with as far as strategy goes, I guess, because it can't be luck after all these years. Something I'm doing right. And usually my strategy has to do with, unless something forces otherwise, get the beast first. And then after that, load down on as much damn food as you can. And then worry about balancing out getting soldiers and making sure you have enough food. Because once you have that beast, you're going to be able to hold a lot of stuff. Without the beast, you're going to be balancing the food and soldiers very carefully. That's about it. And then before I go in the tower, I usually do overkill on the amount of soldiers that I buy up. But yeah, so victory for Big Johnny G and Dark Tower. Thank you, Valen D. It feels good. It's one of the games to know that I'm still regularly good at. It feels good. Big Johnny G's How to Play Fantasy Flux. And this is from Joe Pix 1000. I think I've seen here before, maybe, not in a while. It says, I think you should send this game to Jay. She may understand how to play this one. Just saying. I think I know who this is. I think I know who Jay is in this game. That Jay, she may understand how to play this one. Just saying, ha ha. But it's funny because I would think Jay is Joe Pix. Talking about yourself in the third person? If not, I don't know who Joe Pix is talking about Jay. I don't know. I think I know. I'll talk to my friends. But it's good. It's nice to know that someone I know, an actual real life person friend of mine, is watching my videos. There's very few of you. You're in a very selective club. Out of my personal friends that actually watch my videos. And if you are a personal friend that watches my videos, hit that goddamn thumbs up and maybe throw a comment down. Oh, 2GP special presentation of Towns and Dungeons. This one got a copyright strike. I've been pretty good this past year avoiding the copyright strikes. My big problem with them is that it seems that the music that I pay to use, and some of you have heard me bitch about this before, the money that I pay to use by monthly, my monthly yearly buying of Power Director, for some reason, no matter what music I put on, YouTube tells me there's a copyright claim and I can't use it. But the weird thing is, if I screenshot the video and then upload the screenshot, I don't get copyright notices. And I was in a rush and I forgot to do that. I forgot to double produce over itself. And I think that's what happened. So I got a copyright strike on that. So unfortunately, unless you peruse my channel, it's not going to get a lot of views. And it's a good video. I'm not saying that to get views on it, because I don't thrive with sponsorship or patrons or backers or anything like that. I just think it's a good episode for dungeon masters or aspiring dungeon masters who want to be table builders. Not every DM or storyteller is. And if you want to be, this is a great episode because there's a big difference between table building a dungeon or a cavern as opposed to table building a village, a town, streets, buildings, the cast of characters that live in the town, what's going on, merchants, people selling things, drunks on the streets, street animals. Oh, it's a huge difference, I found out. So I did this video, Towns and Dungeons. So please, if you're a DM, if you know someone that's a DM, this video is not going to get a lot of views. So send it out to people because that's why I made it. I made it to help DM storytellers and their table builds. Give them a little information on it. So Trey Techie, we see you around here. Thanks for coming back, Trey. For the Towns and Dungeon 2GP special presentation video, says thank you for the special presentation intro. A bit of nostalgia. Reminds me of the days of analog Zenith TVs and quiet evenings in front of them waiting for a special presentation of a movie to come. Back when streaming a movie was a real event. And it sure was. The only time I got to watch Wizard of Oz was it Christmas, right? It was a Thanksgiving. I can't even remember now. Now it's so frequent. March of the Wooden Soldiers with Laurel and Hardy. I only used to be able to watch during Thanksgiving time. Also, of course, the Charlie Browns and things like that. That's exactly why I use that intro. Now, here's something interesting about the intro. I don't get copyright strikes on that. And I've been using, since I clipped it out like 2 years ago, oh man, it gotta be more, like 4 years ago. I just did a Google search and just did just downloaded the intro. I've always expected to get it. I expected I was going to use it once, get a copyright strike, get all pissed off, and then have to change it to something else, which kind of defeats the purpose of it being called 2GP Special Presentation. And that didn't happen. I never get a copyright strike on 2GP presentations for the intro. I get them for the music. But if you look at my other ones that I did double produce, None of them have the copyright strike. Yeah, so weird. So weird if that works out. But yeah, I put it there for nostalgia, my friends. So glad you're enjoying it. All right, Gaming Radar, Wingspan by Stonemeyer Games. Our buddy the Shogunstein 6475 had something to say about that video. Not a bad game, but overproduced. My buddy in the UK argues that you could have this game with just basically a deck of cards. But for me, more important is that everyone seems to have this game in their collection. So do I need a copy when so many people have it? That's a very good point. If you play with a regular group of players, or you play at a what am I trying to call it? A board game cafe, you probably don't need this game. If at least just one person in your group has a copy of the game, technically no one else in the group really needs it. Yeah, you may want it for your own, for your own shelf. You may want it just in case your buddy's not around and you're doing a game night and you want to play that game. But generally, do you need? No. But then again, do you need any game? No. But I see your point. I'm not belittling your point, Shogunstein. But yeah, because I agree with you. You need a copy of it. It's partly a rhetorical question, but partly not. I get it. And thank you for the comments. Tabletop Takeout, Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norell, a board game of English magic. Talon Death. That's Talondeth. In case you're wondering. Talon Death, I believe, is new here, and if so, thank you for watching the video and taking time to comment. I say that book is fantastic. Definitely worth taking the time. A must read if you like alternative history. And I actually do, which is what partly got me into wanting to watch the show. That, magic and stuff, kind of called to me as well. But yeah, the fact that it's alt history, I've always loved that concept. Alt history stuff first came to my attention probably in comic books as a kid. And, with the multiple world things like in DC, I don't know what the hell they're doing nowadays, but in the old days, traditionally, like the Justice Society was perpetually in a world that was always just World War II, kind of thing. I get it. I get the alternate history things. I like it. I enjoy it. I really do. And maybe I should read the books. But again, I don't have a lot of time for anything. Outside of reading for research or reading rules, I really don't have a lot of time. I wish I did. I feel like Burgess Meredith. Time enough at last. Twilight Zone episode. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go check it out. That's what I feel like sometimes. Big Giant G's How to Play a Marching Order by Crumbling Keep. The Kim Steffi. TheKimSteffey. So I think I said that right. The Kim Steffi said, literally waiting for my box set to arrive. This will really help me be ready to play. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I really wanted to put the video out of how to play, besides the fact that I've been asked to put a video of how to play of this game out. We are going to be getting back into it. It's been a while since we've played the game. It's an awesome game. I can't wait for you to get your copy of the game and delve right into it. We're going to get back into it starting this year. It's going to be an alt to regular RPG days. That's the main thing I'll be doing with the gang. Solo, I could be doing some solo stuff with it as well. It's just really, the game really calls to me. There's a couple of games like that, and I hate to mention one game with another, but honestly, the other game it makes me feel like, although Marching Order is a bit more adult with its language and concept, is For Against Darkness is another game. Both of these games I love fantastically, and I hope to get more solo plays as well as group plays coming this next year. Fingers, tails, and toes crossed, my friends. 2GP Special Presentation Towns and Dungeons Fallen Dominion Studios. John here, right there with you, needing town terrain. That's a fun module. Great video. Thank you very much, John. Gaming Radar, Moonshine Empire by Aged Battle Games. The Shogun scenes that I just sold my copy. Beautiful components, just too much stuff. theme looked fun. Just never made it to the table. We all have those shelf of shame titles now, don't we? We do. I have some up here. I've gone through a few of them. Still seems like there's always room on this shelf of shame. Also from Shogun Scene, talking about Gaming Radar's Merchant of the Dark Road. He says, I believe the company had some issues with their latest Kickstarter. I don't know about that, Shogun Steen. I'm wrapped up in the Kickstarters for Adaptive Table LED, for, as I mentioned earlier in this video, for my Marvel Zombies, and now I just did the kicker for Tiny Epic Cthulhu, which is a Tiny Epic I've been waiting for the last several titles. I'm like, come on, when are you going to do Cthulhu? And now I'm thinking, oh, Tiny Epic, when are you going to do a Tiny Epic Supers or Tiny Epic Marvel? You know, like all the character cards will be like one side, the hero, the other side, the civilian side, and depending on what you're doing, you're racking up victory points on one side or the other. Oh, it can be so cool. But yeah, so that's what I got myself wrapped into. I don't know what is going on with the Moonshine Empire Kickstarter at all. If you have information for it, put it in the comments. Let people know, because I don't know what's going on. I can't comment on that. Also, from Shogun Steen, concerning a gaming radar for the Lost Ruins of Arnak by Czech Games Edition. A very good game. 2 issues, in my opinion. 1, Table Hog. Takes so long to set up and needs a lot of space. 2, so many people have it. I sold mine off. It seems everyone in the gaming group has a copy. So did I really need one? Similar to Quacks and Wingspans. Does everyone need a copy of this game? No. We commented on this earlier with your other, comments, so we don't have to get into it again, but I agree with you. On both a sarcastic level and a realistic level, I agree with you. And Merchants of the Dark Road, Shogunstein said, I believe the company... Oh, I already did that, sorry. Friday Night Fillers, Clue. Discover the secrets. We did a 3-player game, my wife and her sister. And Hobmonger 5275 said, I'm amazed how much you get done on just your smartphone. Man, that's right, Hobmonger. Every single thing that's been seen on this channel, pretty much since day one, has all been through my Android. One Android or another. Currently, I still have my old 10 Plus, which I got like just before New York City shut down from the pandemic. That's how long ago this was. I still got that. It's working fine. Fingers, toes, and tails crossed. Knock on wood. You know what I mean? Yeah, I love it. I love it. Hobmonger. Oh, another comment from Merchants of the Dark Road by Shogunstein. Spoiler alert on this game. Multiple Kickstarter copies for a sale at the secondhand market. Never a good sign. Last market the deluxe edition saw was a $40 asking price. Never a good sign when that many people are trying to unload the same game. Elf Creek Productions is top notch. But just never a good sign when that many are trying to sell it off. Conversely, the other game, Honey Buzz, is excellent and hard to find. Well, that might be because they underproduced Honey Buzz. The name is striking a bell, Honey Buzz, but it's not visually kicking anything in. I can't see it. I don't know anything about this other than the name sounds really familiar. So I must have seen something about it and just didn't dig into me yet. What's in the Pixies box for Fallen Dominion Studios? We got JBYRGE0377 says, awesome video and thank you. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you ended up subscribing to this channel. You will see some more Fallen Dominion stuff. And who knows, I think you might find some other things you enjoy in this channel as well. Hopefully. Fallen Dominion Studios for that same video said, John here watching this now. Love it. Thanks, man. Can't wait for you guys to play. You've already heard his comment about that. We got our buddies Chiro Studio back up for the next 2 comments on 2 different videos. One of them for a tabletop takeout, level 7 Omega Protocol. Chiro Studios 07097 says, I love how Fu is peeking out at us from behind the Lord of the Rings game. Actually, it's Munchkin. Right next to the Descent. Fu is always over my shoulder watching me. He's a little creepy like that. Did he hear me? Tito Studios also said for Endless Winter Paleo Americans, you're right about the game having a survival vibe. During this time, your entire tribe could die for any number of reasons. Examples are starvation, changing climate, or neighboring hostile tribe. You know, every game I put on Gaming Radar literally is a game that catches my attention. It's something that I would like to play, hopefully maybe even get on my shelf and my table permanently. This game is really on the top of that list. I really feel a very strong pull to wanting to play and own Endless Winter Paleo Americans. Hopefully this year that will be a reality. But there's a lot of other things I got to put money to this year. And since this is, we're on our own here with this channel, I can only do what I can, my friends. How to play Francis Drake. Oh, I messed up the date on that. I got to go back in and fix that. How to play Francis Drake by Eagle Griffin Games. Shogun Steen said, the board is double-sided. Does it make it matter which side that you see? It has been a while since I played this game, and that's an older video. Wow, look at that thumbnail. That thumbnail's like first year video thumbnail, year and a half. And it has been at least 5 years since I've played this game, but I am as close to 100% positive as I can be to say yes. Yes, there is a difference between the two board sides, and that is either difficulty or number of players. I can't remember which. But I'm surprised it doesn't say anything in the rules. Shogunstein, let me know. Let me know which I'm right about. Also, Shogunstein for Endless Winter, Paleo Americas, said, on my shelf of shame. I went all in and bought it with the 2 expansions, but it's just so much stuff, so much game, so many things going on that I just never played it. I'm sure it's a great game, just too much stuff. Now, I want to say something there, because you bring something up that's been in my mind a couple of times, and this is a perfect example. So you're living something out right now that's been partially in my mind, because I, like you, given the opportunity, I will prefer to go all in on something instead of finding out I like it and then later having to hunt down, usually at a higher price, hunt down the expansions and all the extra stuff that I could have gotten if I just went all in to begin with. But then sometimes it all shows up, and like you say, it's overwhelming. It's just too much stuff. Too much stuff to put on the table, too much stuff to learn, too much stuff all at once. Sometimes the best thing to do in this case is forget the expansions. Put the expansions on your shelf, take them out of the box, whatever you do with them, put them aside. And just one step at a time. Sometimes if you just start with the core set and learn that, play 3 or 4 games with that, then it'll be that much easier when you're adding in all these add-on stuff, all these expansion things, and having to learn all these new rules. Because it will be overwhelming. It'll be too much. Why put yourself through that? See, even when you get everything, do it one at a time. Oh, we don't have many quotes for, comments for 2GP D&D quote the Bard. We have one here for my worst nightmare 506. You're an Alice Cooper fan? My worst nightmare 506 said he sounds so happy and or proud about those 5 magic rings. What a laughy face my worst nightmare said about that. For the 12 days of Need Fest or Crit Fest, maybe you don't play in Greyhawk, which celebrates Need Fest. If not, then just take out Need Fest and put in Crit Fest, and it's the same song. He does sound so happy, doesn't he? 5 magic rings! That sounds like he is. Like he's been waiting for these. Like these are the pride of his collection. 5 magic rings! Yeah, I feel it. I feel it. Very cool. Hope you've been enjoying the other ones, especially the Christmas ones. I was planning on having our version of the Grinch, Mr. Lich, up on Friday, But at the last minute, when I realized that Friday was the last night of Hanukkah, and I had just started working on my dreidel D&D song, Gollum, Gollum, Gollum. I forged him out of clay. I realized I got to get this up right away. So there's going to be more, and I'm really proud. I'm really happy. It's taken me weeks, pulling my hair out, but I finally got Mr. Lich right. That'll be this coming Friday. I really hope you like that. And I think after that's going to be Frosty the Giant. I got like 3 that I'm working on. I think Frosty the Giant's the strongest. Give me time to work on the other 2 and put them up for way ahead of time for next year. So I'm glad you've been liking that, because I've really been having so much fun with these spoken word poem song things. So much fun. Oh, more comments there, Shogunstein, on how to play Francis Drake. Oh, I know why that says 012. That has nothing to do with the month. This is a first-year video. I numbered the videos. Instead of dating them, I numbered them back then. This was my 12th how to play video I ever did. Love the video. You're going at a faster pace than you do 6 years later. It's almost like Crazy Eddie commercial. I love Crazy Eddie commercials. They're insane. Oh, part of me kind of wanted to pattern the whole show on that style when I was first trying to figure out my footing, what the show is. Where's my voice? I need a natural voice. Which natural voice am I using? How is this going on? And it just came out to be my excited voice. But yeah, those Crazy Eddie commercials, it was a little too much. And also, you need help. Like, remember the Crazy Eddie Christmas commercials? Christmas in July commercials? And he'd be in the studio in the full Santa suit, screaming out how cheap everything is. While off camera, they were like production assistants throwing snowballs at him, and just pinging, like plastic snowballs, like pinging off of his head while he's yelling out the deals. That was fantastic. If anyone doesn't know what me and Shogunstein are talking about, just do a YouTube search. Just Google Crazy Eddie commercials. They were some of the funnest commercials to watch, man. They were. They're practically giving it all away. But that's not all. Pardon me, that's not all by Shogunstein. Have you figured out a way to solo it or play the game at a less player count? I believe the minimum player count suggested is 3. I believe. No, as far as I know, I never did come across a really good solo version of it that I remember. If I did, it would be a video. And if I did, and it's a video, I forgot about it. It's been after like 6 years. But no, I don't recall. It's the same problem I have with Western Legends. One of the best games I have on my shelves, one of the best games ever produced, but you really can't play it with less than 3. Yeah, you can play it with 2. The man in black becomes the NPC player to make 3. It's okay. I'd rather have a third real person there. And they've never figured out any way, they said, according to them, any way to make this an enjoyable one-player game. I hate that. I really hate that. Let me see. Shogunstein for Undaunted North Africa by Osprey Games. This series I found to be fairly disappointing. It's like a World War II game that feels 0% like a World War II game. It's like a World War II game for people who don't like when gamers play World War II games. Last time I checked in World War II, we fought the Nazis and not 1870 Prussians. I'm beating Nazis in my World War II games. I think the game is fun. I think the game is a really fun, back and forth, head-to-head, 2-player combat simulation game. Or let's put it this way: World War II era, as far as like tech and weapons go, right? Now, your point about why has nobody ever brought up the fact that a World War II game, the Allied forces are fighting Prussians? And that's for the exact same reason that when Osprey Games, earlier than this, about 6 years ago, actually, was when this channel just started, they did a republishing of a game about a true story, World War II game, Escape from Colditz, true-ish, based on the real-ish accounts of an English officer who was trapped at Castle Colditz, which is where the Nazis, one of the main places the Nazis kept officers that got caught. Right? They didn't keep them in with the normal POW camps. They went somewhere special. And Colditz was known to be the most unescapable castle prison anywhere. Very few escaped. Only, I think, 2 escaped successfully as far as never being captured again. And the guy that created the game, wrote the novel, co-helped with the miniseries, and I think there was a TV movie in Great Britain about it. They redid the game. They redid the game about 6-7 years ago, and they took out Nazi symbolism on it. They took out as much Nazi references as they could, while still needing, this to be World War II. And that's really sad because, as Shogun said, this, even better than I do, I'm sure. But I grew up and I remember I was told 2 things about World War II. Never forget, and the reason why you never forget. And those are 2 extremely important attitudes to have. And the fact that is being whitewashed because some individuals have emotional problems and can't handle the word, the phrase, the image at all of a Nazi. This game, other games, other things in history, and I wonder if I said the word enough times that this video is going to get struck, that has to be whitewashed. And that's horrible. Because once you start forgetting the past, you are destined to one day relive it. And when you open the floodgates an inch, they'll open up, they'll tear the door right off the hinges, right? So you put those 2 things together, we're looking at something horrible. We're looking at a horrible thing down the road somewhere because everyone thinks that mentioning the real bad guys in World War II by name and image is going to destroy society. It's horrible. It really is. And you're right. And you should be pissed at that. The game itself, I like. I stand by the games. How they play, the fun they have, the head-to-head aspect of it. I do. I stand by that. Whether you particularly like that style or not, Shogunstein or anyone else, that's independent. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Nobody can tell you what you like and do not like. Nobody can tell you what's beautiful and what's ugly. Only the viewer knows that. It's the same way with likes and dislikes for games. So that's cool. But yes, I totally agree with you on the fact that so many things in today's society, and this is part of the problem, Osprey is part of the problem here with this example, it's a bad thing. We can't whitewash this out of history. It feels like, to me, it feels like being whitewashed out of history is just the conspiracist in me thinks it's just a plan to hasten it happening again. Horrible. Also, Shogunstein for Big Johnny G's 5 favorite paranormal games. I don't think that's something anyone else has ever done in their favorite list for board games. He said, nice pick on Lucidity. Of course, it's an amazingly awesome game. Fun, whether you're playing solo or whether you're competitively playing against others, and it plays different solo. I like that. But it's paranormal. You're literally, your consciousness, your character you're playing in the game, your consciousness is going into the dream realm, trying to steal power while avoiding the nightmares that want to convert you, destroy you, make you part of them. That's paranormal. Yeah. I wish there was more. Just like there's an overflow of Cthulhu games and zombie games, and let's face it, fantasy games and nowadays Marvel games here. We don't see a flooding of paranormal games. Mysterium. I think everything I named on the list, Mysterium was on my list. I honestly think those are the top 5. I do. And there's not more than maybe double or double and a half more than that, I think. Oh, we're moving back here, moving backwards in time. Midday Monologue Monday for the November comments. So really far back in time here. Kyle, that's our buddy Kyle from the 20-Sided Warriors, our D&D player and friend, says the D&D club loves the Giacomo Bard poems. Well, good. Get him to comments on some. Get him to like it. Maybe even share with someone that hasn't heard him. But at least, let me see a comment or two from them. Yeah, that's what I want to see, buddy. Tabletop Takeout. Yeah, this is going all the way back now for Omega Protocol. Michael H. Nope. Michelle H. 8268 says, thanks again. Again, did I get one to begin with? I forgot. I'm sorry. Thank you again yourself. What's in the Pixies box? Restoration Games. A friend of ours we have not heard from in a while, and she does some really fun dancing video, music videos there. And that's Anya. That's a double A there. AANYAH. Anya said nerdettes and nerdlings with a laughing smiley face there. Great video, Pixie. All the evil things. Love the stylish black box too. As look at that for Restoration Games. That was from the end of the month. That was Restoration Games. That means that was an unboxing there for Dark Tower, Return to Dark Tower. That must have been the Covenant expansion I just got. Nice. Tales on the Table, D&D, Forge of Fury, Part 12 from Fallen Dominion Studios. Great video, buddy. If you enjoy Dungeons and Dragons, or you ever did, you gotta check out our Tales on the Table series. It has its own playlist. Everything has a playlist on this channel. I know I don't mention that enough, but everything has a playlist. But yeah, you go to the D&D playlist. It's in there, and it's also in the Tales from the Table playlist. We get to see my dungeon builds for my tables, my table builds for my dungeons, and the 20-Sided Warriors give recaps of what's been going on in the game, and they get pretty excited about that. And then I put it all together with sort of a slideshow at the end of photos that were taken of the game they were just talking about. It's really fun, man. We really love this. We're going to be doing 2 a month. We're going to be doing 2 a month starting next year. I mean, in a couple of weeks. No, I don't mean in a couple of weeks. Although a couple of weeks is next year, if you're watching this now, live. No, what I mean is when we get back up to it. Because we're good on videos, taped, edited, produced, uploaded, waiting to drop, right up until April. So starting in May, Tales on the Table is going to be twice a month. So I'm going to be doing one episode just on the behind the screen. That's going to be, a lot of videos do behind the scenes, the BTS videos. I'm going to be doing my own BTS behind the screen. Because the behind the screen build up to the Tales on the Table I do now are almost 20 minutes long. They're video length, all of their own. So I'm going to make them their own video. I hope you enjoy it, because I'm going to be enjoying dividing it up. It's gonna flow a little easier and a little bit better. Slideshow Gaming for Galactic Strike Force. Shogun Scene said, looks like Star Realms. I'm going to have to go check out Star Realms, because I did not know that. And let me tell you something, Galactic Strike Force is one of the hardest games to win I have ever played. And this is coming from someone, yes, I know, that loses most games. But everyone I put that game in front of, there's never been a win. Never been a win on that game. What's in the Pixies box? Battle Systems. We have Joseph Stalin, Losif Stalin. We've seen you here before. Losif Stalin 2 says first. Damn straight. Battle Systems is a first. I'll give you that. Between that and the Warlock tiles, you have the 2 of those in your stable, so to speak, to build up your table. You're good to go. You're very good to go. Tabletop Takeout of Tiny Epic Mix. Shogun Scene said, as much as I love Tiny Epic series, this was one of my least favorite. Rules were way too much. It's at the bottom of mine, too. It's no zombies bad. But, ultimately, I'm not a fan of what do they call it in that game? Where you plot your moves beforehand. Like, you play a card, it's like, I'm going to move 3 forward and 1 right, 2 forward and 1 left, before anything happens. Pre-programmed moves. I don't like that. I don't like pre-programmed moves. That turned me off. The game had a lot of potential. I think if it had a better move system than that, see, that's the problem. That move system is tied into the combat and the tactics and the strategy of the game. So to take that out you have to rework the entire rules. You can't really house rule taking that out or changing it. You can't. And that's why it's at the bottom of my list, Shogunstein. We also have 3 more comments for Midday Monologue Monday. Publishers, stop doing this. So Shogunstein said, why do people need 3 versions of castles to make my money just because it's fed? Fed? Why? Because they love your wallet. And they love helping our wallets lose weight. They love putting our wallets on diets. They're so thoughtful of our wallet's health there, aren't they? No, really, it's agreed. Really agreed. Things can be tweaked. Remember erratas used to be like erratas used to be put out. Back in the old days, a game was put out an errata. Nowadays, what could be an errata, many companies, especially the smaller ones, are opting to just redo the entire game, do a new Kickstarter a year later with a second edition that they've now fixed. When it could have been an errata. There's a couple of good games I have that I refuse to even talk about anymore because they did that. They did that exactly. Sometimes even less than a year before the game was out after Kickstarter. Like, oh, now we got the same game but second edition. It's even better. Well, fuck you. You knew that this was just everyone that bought the first edition of the game was just a play tester for you? That's exactly. When you see a company do that, whether it's through Kickstarter or anything else, when you see a company put out a first edition of a game and less than a year later they have a second edition of it out, you were just a play tester. You paid the price of the game to be their play tester instead of them paying you to do the job. Oh, I hate that. And I'm not even going to tell you what companies I'm talking about because I refuse to give them any time. Complete, just like ancient Egypt, just erase completely from history. Never mentioning again. Sorry. These companies prey on completionists. This is still Shogunstein with another comment. These companies prey on completionists and collectors to keep buying these expensive, blinged out editions of games. Unfortunately, too many people are willing to give them their money. And then he also closes off with the comment, having games manufactured by questionable labor in China seems a bigger issue than plastic minis. No consistency in the board game community. Again, this is another comment you're absolutely right on, Shogunstein. And the only reason I bring it up is because I feel if I don't, somebody's going to attack me. Oh, why do you not mention the minis? All the plastic is ruining their planet, John. Why don't you do that? Why do you love plastic minis so much? You're part of the problem, John. That's why I usually bring up, I'm like, listen, I know. No plastic's a problem. But then again, I also usually follow that up by saying, so is cardboard. What do you want? You want standees? Because there is a paper shortage as well that nobody talks about that's going on. And you just want to use up more paper. There's no easy answer for that. But, pardon me, but yes, on top of that, you're correct. How many of these games are using literally slave labor out of China? And you might want to argue with me, John, it's not slave labor. Would you do it? Would you be happy if you found out your kid was doing that kind of job for that kind of money? No. So don't split hairs with me on this. Okay, because Shogunstein is right. And I guess 90% of the things you see behind me and the things you don't see that are in front of me make me part of the problem too, supporting it. But in this world economy, not in this world economy, the way the world economy is set up, you can't just say no anymore to things that are consumerly bad. Unless something starts a huge movement with millions of people backing it, it doesn't matter. None of it does, because it's not going to change. But it's still a problem. Yeah, these companies are using, basically, by our standards, slave labor that they're keeping in slave housing on the property of the companies in most cases. In many cases, these individuals can't even leave. They do all their shopping, their food buying, right there in the same building that they live in, which is part of the same complex where they work at, living in basically what most people in the Western world would consider a large closet with like 8 or 10 people crammed in it. I've seen these videos. I've seen these documentaries. But what are we going to do? When every business in most of the Western countries would rather pass on the saving dollar, how much would they pass on? I don't know. By engaging in using this type of labor from Asia, as long as they keep doing it and have no plans of stopping, there's no alternative for the consumer. There's none. We can't make a stand about it. The only thing we can make a stand about is just stop doing it. And I can't think of any board gamer that's just going to say, well, I'm never going to buy any board game that has any components, any parts whatsoever that comes from China. It's going to leave you very, very few. Very few. Small companies too. Fundamental Games in Canada, as far as I know, they don't use China. I could be wrong, but I don't think they use China. They use local. Grey Gnome Games, as far as I know, they use local. They don't ship out to China. But even if I'm wrong, that's a prime. If I am wrong with those two examples, that is a prime example itself of how little it is that it actually happens. It's possible. You can do it. You can print a game up, a book up here in America or Canada at a price reasonable enough that you can get people to buy it. But it's a stretch for most companies to want to go that far. Why? Let's go to China. It's so much easier for them, So that's never going to change. Shogunstein, I'm with you 100%. And if something could change this, I'd be part of it. But I see nothing. Even if every board gamer in the world rises up and says, we're going to put a stop to this, it's not. Little changes will be made here and there to appease people. And then probably it would go back as quickly as it could to the way it used to be, or as close to the way it used to be, which I guarantee you is not going to be anything anyone is going to be happy about, because there's not going to be much difference. So I don't know what to tell you on that, Shogunstein. It is a huge problem. Minis, plastic, paper is a huge problem. Slave labor in China that we here in the Western world, and not just America, Canada, England, the whole Western hemisphere of the world, from Asian point of view, I guess, everyone's guilty of it. Nobody wants to just stand, not enough, just want to stand up and say no. So the individual buyers, consumers like you and me of this product, either we just accept it or we stop getting the products altogether. And I'm not. I can't. I'm too addicted to this. Dungeons & Dragons Fantasy Board Game Tabletop Takeout. Now we're roundabout until last month. See, it usually takes me about an hour. Kim Hansen 8615 said, I just went to my Dungeons and... Yes, I did do this reading last month. I just went to my Dungeon and Return with this gem, hidden for almost 20 years. Kids and I did a few games back then, and I forgot about it. Time to revisit it. Probably be solo games, though. I remember reading this, and I remember pointing out to you that the Dungeons & Dragons Fantasy Adventure board game by Parker Brothers, you can't solo. Is there something online that I missed? If so, let me know about it. Maybe even put a link if you can. But no, there's no soloing of the Fantasy Adventure board game. That's a board game version of D&D in the sense that you need a DM. Somebody needs to set the game up, run the monsters and traps, know the board. Now, the adventure system, the Dungeons & Dragons Cooperative Adventure System, we have games like Wrath of Ashadlan, Castle Ravenloft, Legend of Drizzt, etc., etc., etc. Those games you can solo. But yeah, you can't solo. I wish you could. I wish you could solo the Dungeons & Dragons Fantasy Adventure board game by Parker Brothers, because it is the best board game version of Dungeons & Dragons you're ever going to play. And I'm open up. You want to argue? I love the cooperative adventure system. If you want to argue this with me, I'm fine for an open discussion about it. But I do think that, although very, very close out of the two systems, the Dungeons & Dragons Fantasy Adventure board game by Parker Brothers is a little bit better in the sense of being a little bit more D&D feel. But then again, I might be saying that because that's a DM. That could be what pushes it over the edge for me, making it feel more like D&D. Because how can it feel more like D&D if it doesn't have a DM? So that brings us back around. Was there anything else I may have missed here? No, it doesn't look like I missed anything. So that's it. All right, and nobody popped on. There was no questions to be had. Then again, this was a week early, unplanned, because I just did not plan it out well enough. So we're at the hour mark. We're going to call it here, my friends. Thank you very much for joining me. I'm your buddy Big John G for Two Gun Pixie presents Legendary Gaming, and I am